In this video, I'm going to talk about building and working with a team. So I'm Daniel Norton, photographer. Welcome to my channel. I do videos like this where I talk about kind of philosophy and my experience as a professional photographer here in New York City. We also do some tutorials. So if you're interested in that stuff, please subscribe and we'll get right to it. So as a photographer, especially when we're first starting, right? When we get into photography, most of us, you pick up a camera, could even be your phone, right? It could be anything, and you start making photos. And then next thing you know, you decide, hey, I want to do this on some level, either as a serious amateur, or maybe I want to try to make a living doing it, or make a side income, or whatever. And what you're going to find is that very rarely, as a photographer, do you find complete success working just doing everything yourself. Having a team actually really helps elevate you. And I think that there's a lot of people that think that they can do it on their own, and then they realize as they go, sometimes they think they are doing it on their own and they realize actually they're not. If you think about it, so if you, let's say, photograph models or actors or headshots or whatever, that's almost the most simple thing, right? Like if I'm photographing a model and we're making a video for you guys, like a tutorial video, even if I'm just there with just the model, me and the model, guess what? There's a team there. The model is part of my team, right? Everybody you work with, you should think of them as part of your team. What you want to do is build this kind of community around yourself, that there's lots of people that want to work together, that want to do a good job, and not so much that they're people that you just hired, right? Because yeah, you pay the model or whatever, you bring a model in for a photo shoot and you hire them, but if you treat them like hired help and this, they'll act like hired help, and as soon as the clock's up, they'll walk out or whatever. But when you make them part of the team, part of the project, in the end, you get much better results. So what I think you have to kind of do is think about every task that you do as a photographer or whatever business you're doing, and think of the goal, right? What's the end goal? And what you want to do is bring people into this project that want that goal as well, right? That's your ideal situation. Your ideal situation is that even if there were not money involved, obviously we all have to make a living, so we're hiring people, we're paying people, makeup artists, stylists, models, assistants, whatever. But even if there wasn't money involved, these people would want to be involved. That's your ideal project, right? It's one where like the makeup artist is like, oh my God, that's so great. I want to put this in my book. Like I want to do this. Yeah, I'm getting paid because I have to make a living. It's my job, but I want to work with you. I enjoy working with you. I enjoy the stuff that we create. I enjoy that you give me the flexibility to use my skill to help you create a better product. And if you can foster that in the people that you work with, you'll definitely be in a much better position, because then when you do work on personal projects, let's say you have less budget or you want to do a test or something, you're going to have people that enjoy and want to work with you. They know they get something from it, even if there's not always direct pay involved, right? And they're going to reach out to you when they have a cool idea. The makeup artist that you work with regularly on doing headshots that loves working with you, when they have some cool makeup idea they want to add to their book, they're going to reach out to you, and that's great if you need that stuff, and obviously you're not obligated. They probably work with other people as well, but it puts you in the position where it's like, oh, I really like working with Daniel, so I have this cool makeup that I'm going to do. I would love to collaborate with him because I know that we get great results. And I think when you get that kind of a reputation, if you will, you're just going to do much better. So that's kind of crew, right? That's the people that you work with on the actual set. You've got your makeup artists, you've got your fashion stylists, you've got your models, you've got maybe art directors, depending on the type of work you do. You might have prop stylists. These are all the crew. The other people that you might work with too is people that you work with to spread the media out there. Maybe you work with retouchers. Some people will hire out retouchers. Maybe you work with people that help you do edits. I know that a lot of wedding photographers do this now, where they'll where they put the images into they work with a company that does the kind of the basic edit to kind of separate and get rid of the junk and whatever. Kind of saves them time, right? It's a good service. But again, or you might work with a lab. Like for instance, I work with the Find Lab when I shoot film, and they're great, right? They don't just take my film, run it through a machine, and send it back to me. There's somebody there looking at it and scanning it, and they give their feedback on it, and over time, they'll do it even if you just send. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want, if you want to try to shoot film, or if you do shoot film and you're looking for a lab. Even if it's the first time, they're still going to do that. But as you work with them a bunch, like when I was shooting a lot more film, they get used to your style and they learn kind of what you do, and they can really help you out kind of to develop your craft in that area, right? And that's just somebody that that's almost like thinking, well, you know what? I'm just dropping a film off, but no, they're part of the team on some level, right? Because they're the ones that are developing it for you. So same thing with the retoucher. If you hire a retoucher, you should be working with them so that they can help work with your style, right? Because ultimately, that's what you want, right? That they're part of your team. You might also work with people that like post on social media for you directly if you're like a bigger company, or you just do that kind of stuff. I like to do that stuff myself, but sometimes, if as you get bigger, you need to have people do it for you. But also in that sense, you might work with, these like Instagram magazines, or maybe blogs that reblog your images, or in my case, my videos. Like these people are great. Like I consider them like part of a team, right? And if they were to come to me with a project, I would be all about it, right? Because that's the thing, right? They're helping me out by spreading my content. I'm helping them out by giving them good content to write about or whatever. And same thing in your case. If you're like, let's say, putting them on Instagram for these web magazines and they're using your images, right? Work with them, right? You want to like, oh, okay, they've used my images a couple of times. Maybe I should reach out to them and start talking about doing a collaboration instead of just, oh, a random image here and there. Maybe we can talk about what they want, right? Then they become part of a team, right? Everybody's kind of in working together. And I think ultimately that is what you want, right? You want this team of people around you, people that are going to help distribute your stuff, people that are going to want to collaborate with you, people that are there when you need them for hired jobs, that are reliable. And one thing that I think is super important when you're kind of building a team and doing this other stuff is you need to treat people correct. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have to say this, but there's a lot of like a burden on you when you're the photographer, because you got to get the shot. It's on you, and no matter what happens, it's your fault if it doesn't happen. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that you're giving proper due to the people that are doing the things that are helping you get where you need to be, and you need to make sure that you treat them, with respect and kindness, and you give them your ear when need be. And this will definitely help people want to work with you, right? Again, that's building a team versus building some hired hands that are doing things for you. Because ultimately, that's what you want, right? You want people that you want to work with your friends, right? So you want to eventually build friendships with these people. So this is like super important. And it's one of the things that I always strive for. Like I never walk into a situation without that attitude. It's like I come in, even if I've never worked with somebody before, I always try to be positive and interact with them as much as possible, because I want to know like what they're about. Right? I don't want them to be afraid to throw out a good idea that I might use, right? Because I'm not no, I'm the photographer, I get to pick. No, we're working together. We're all trying to get the same goal. And honestly, that's what I want. If I hire, let's say, a photo assistant, and they're not 100% behind the idea of getting that shot, and it's like that's what they're there for, they want that shot. If they're just there for the money, I'll never hire them again. What I want is somebody who's there and they're going to put as much into it as if it was their own shot. And those are the people that I'll bring back over and over again. Both makeup artists, photo assistants, those people, I want them so involved. I want them to really do it. And in order to do that, you have to build a team. You're basically the team leader or the captain or whatever. So, you got to foster that in people and really listen to them and see where they're coming from, And when you do that, you will have a lot more success. People will spread the word. People will want to work with you. The companies will want to work with you. I mean, it's amazing how much of the industry is that, right? It's once you're kind of in and you know people, and if you get a good reputation, more work will come. It's kind of like spreading positivity, right? You don't want to come in and, oh yeah, that guy creates amazing photos, but what an asshole. Like, okay, you will get jobs, especially if you're hot for a minute, but in the end, people don't want to work with somebody who's a jerk. So they will find, as soon as the world figures out how to do your little style with the gels or whatever that you're doing that made you so hot, you're nothing now, because people don't want to work with you, and everybody can do that picture you're trying to do. So you really need to make people want to work with you by being just a good person. I mean, I guess it seems really simple, and I think that, but then again, there's certain things that I sometimes have to say that I feel like I should never have to say, but the world is a strange place, and there's a lot of jerks out there, and a lot of people that are very self-centered. And if you think you're becoming one of those people, I would recommend that you rethink how you are, because in the end, it will come back to bite you in the butt. And you will have success now, but it will not last. Because ultimately, you want people that will stay with you during the highs and the lows, and you're not going to have that if you're not positive and if you don't build a team. So I think team building is key, right? Anything that you can look at that's even outside the photo industry that's just about building a team or doing this stuff, and real stuff, not this like BS crap that these like people try to teach you about how to like make sure you say their name 3 times the first time you meet them and hold their hand, shake their hand a certain way. That's crap. That's BS. Be yourself, but be receptive. Make yourself want to be interested in other people. If you're not interested in other people, you need to become interested in other people, because that is now your position, right? You need to do that if you're a photographer. Now, there are very few, certain very specialties. You're a macro photographer that shoots always by yourself, you don't use a team. Well, you know, maybe that's less for you, but I'll tell you what, you could have some awesome macro shots, and then next thing you know, you start getting hired, or you find a company, you want to start shooting some jewelry or whatever, and now you need a team, right? So it's a good skill to have no matter what. Think about team building. Think about, you know, creating like these like circles of friends on some level. And I think that in the end, not only will you have a better like workflow and a better life there, you'll also have just a better life in general, having good friends you can hang out with, and you know, that share the same passion as you. So let me know what you guys do. Do you use teams? You know, what kind of teams? Do you just hire freelancers and hired guns when you need to, or do you bring back the same people? Do you guys do you consider the people you work with your friends? You know, I'd really like to know. I'm curious as to what other people do, and if you think this is useful, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.